Hi, everyone. This is Allison Coe. I'm a little under the weather, and that's why I'm doing an audio today. I actually came across this session months ago, and I wanted to share it with you then, but a bunch of stuff kept coming up, and I never got the chance. But as I'm preparing now for my Sedona presentation in a couple weeks, I came across this transcription again, because I'm taking pieces from it. And it's just such a cool session that I just wanted to share it with you. I think it's so sweet and so fun. And so I'm just going to go over the session with you guys today. It's a really cool session. And I thought, man, I just want to share this with everybody. So bear with me. Yes, I'm sick. That's why I'm not doing a video. I'm definitely not video ready, nor do I want to get video ready. But I hope you guys are all doing well and wonderful. I hope this inspires somebody. Thank you, everybody in my life who has been inspiring me lately. There have been so many wonderful emails and videos and phone calls and all that stuff from people who are doing amazing things. And that's what we're doing here at this world at this time. Every action has a ripple effect. My actions ripple out to you. Then when you act on the information, it ripples out to other people, and so on and so forth. And I just want to thank everybody who is taking part at this time and actually doing something. All right, so this is a really cool session. Bear with me. So the client, when she goes into the session, when she goes into the experience or the life part, she actually returns to her home planet, and she knows it right away. She's like, whoa, this is my home world. This is my home planet. It just feels like home. It's very cool, very different. It seems like the ground seems like something you would find in New Mexico, the desert with buttes and steps. But the sky is like this faint shade of green, a beautiful green. So definitely not here. And there are two things in the sky. She indicates that they are two suns. And she said, if you look at them, they're a little bit smaller than our sun. They're two smaller suns. And she said the ground is a little bit spongy to walk on. So when she's walking, it's pretty spongy. And so we've set the scene there. Now we're focusing on the body. Now this is where it gets really, really weird. I have to give her a lot of props for this because she didn't hesitate. All right, so she begins to describe like a pretty different body. It operates from a single leg, and then the foot resembles a hand more than a foot. So like a single leg with a hand coming down, a big hand foot, and there are appendages that come out from this hand foot that appear larger than fingers would. But it enables her to get around really easily. She's got a human-like torso, but with 3 arms, 2 at the sides and 1 in the front. And the head just goes ahead and sets right on her shoulders. There's no neck. There's a face and what she describes as a mouthpiece thing for ingestion of foodstuffs, but not for communicating with. So there are eyes, but there are 3 eyes. The head doesn't really have hair. It has more, when she was describing it, she was like, it's like thick pieces of spaghetti. And I was like, oh, what do you think is the purpose of those? And she said, oh, they're used as antenna to get information from her surroundings. So very cool description, very different body. And it's a genderless body. So it's genderless, not male, not female. All right. And she's just like, it feels so good to be back. So even in this really interesting body, she doesn't care. She's just like, this is home. This body is home. This planet is home. And it feels amazing to be home. So then I actually asked her to take me to wherever it is she lives on this planet. And we arrive at the bottom of a canyon. Her place is built into the side of the canyon. And as she approaches, a doorway opens up. She goes in. No one else can enter but her. So her home responds to her personal wavelength, her conscious wavelength. It's not biometric. So she doesn't have to touch anything. It's not getting any readings from her DNA. It's her consciousness that the home is matched to. inside the home, everything is dark. And she says that it's a sign she hasn't been there in a long time. It feels very empty. But all she has to do is think of light, and the light comes on. And she's just, again, she just said she's so happy to be home. She's just thrilled this whole time. And I'm asking her things like, okay, does it appear, you said it appears like you've been gone for a long time, but how does the home look? Is there dust? Is there, an accumulation of stuff that indicates how much time you've been gone? She says, no, the home didn't go into disrepair. It stayed as if she never left. The home is one big room with areas assigned for different tasks. There's a nourishment area, a resting area, although she doesn't go to sleep, she just rests. There's an investigation and work area, which is all done by touch with hands on a holographic window-like computer screen. You do all your searching on the screen. And I'm asking her, do you wish to search for anything, since we have access to this really cool high-tech computer? And she says, yeah, I want to know where all my friends are. And she says the entities from this planet, her buddies from her home planet. All right, so she's searching right now on the screen, and it appears that she's not the only one who went to Earth, but she's the first one who came back. But others are coming and returning home soon. So her planet is empty. Her planet is empty because everybody answered the call to come to Earth. And she says, I know these people on my home world, but I don't know them on Earth. So I don't know where they are or where they were on Earth. And I said, well, what called you guys to Earth? She says, it's our job to come to Earth and be system busters for a lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And so it becomes apparent that this being that she appears to be on her home planet, this being spent time on Earth, and we were seeing the future. We were seeing the future of what it's like when she returns to her home planet. So I'm asking her, what happened on Earth before you were able to return home? And she says there was an event that happened, and after the event, there was a time period during which people would be able to raise their vibration, because all the negativity on Earth disappeared. And as they raised their vibration, whenever they wanted to, they could ascend. And so she ascended, and she ascended to the 5th dimension. And after that, she left the 5th dimension, and then she went home. Her home planet is in the 8th dimension. Okay, so that's kind of exciting. So she ascended, there was an event, it erased negativity. People were allowed to raise their vibration, and when they did, they could ascend. They ascended to the 5th dimension. She went along, she ascended to the 5th dimension, and then she decided after a while, hey, I want to go home. I can go home to the 8th dimension. All right. So I'm asking them, asking this being, anything you would like to share about the event and what you experienced as this female on Earth, like where you were when it happened. Let's see. So it says she experienced the event. That's why she came to Earth. She wanted to experience it. And let's see. The blogging. Oh, she's a blogger. She's a blogger, and it says that her blogging is very important. And that's the way she was helping bust systems as this person. Let's see. The blogging is how she reached out into the world to influence and teach those with minds that were ready to be open. And so, as well as physically, she's traveled so often for work, she raises the vibrations of those around her. So physically, she goes out, and when she does, she raises the vibrations. But from her computer, that's where she does a lot of the systems bustings. All right, so we get back to the event. I don't know why it's going back and forth here, but bear with me. All right, so let's see. I'm asking her more about the event, and it says, I'm asking, oh yeah, okay. There were tentacles of light that would come to the earth, on and off, on and off, on and off. They were building up to a rather big event that everybody saw. It was a huge deal. And I say, okay, well, did everybody see the same thing, or did they see it in their own way? She says, I would describe it as a tsunami of love and light. This client was at home when it happened, blogging. Her husband was in the living area. She could see the brightness in her room become brighter. It gets much brighter. Makes her wonder what's going on. Her husband yells for her, and she walks out, and everything's bright, bright, bright outside. And she says, it looks like the sky is rippling in different colors. It was bright, very bright, bright white light to begin with, a flat white. And then it started rippling, and it rippled in colors. And she said, when I went outside and saw the brightness, I felt it in me like an enormous burst of energy, like touching a live wire, but it wasn't pain. It was bliss. It was almost orgasmic, she says. It was absolute joy and bliss. And the whole saturation of energy took about a minute. And after it subsides, it leaves like a glowing ember in the body. And she says she knew what it was, and she felt amazing. Her husband was scared out of his mind. She says she comforts him and tells him it's all right, calm down. This is the event. And then he starts crying. All right, so she reassures him. And let's see, I'm asking her, what are some of the things that changed after the event, both personally or globally? And she says, it seems as though some people are missing from Earth for about 3 days. At this time, she's super happy. She's blissed out. She's basking in joy and love, peace and harmony. Let's see. And she says, people need to calm down, relax. It's going to be okay. The Earth continues on after the event. And after the Pleiadians land publicly, all people's minds are opened. So that's an interesting one, huh? Those who are not ready to receive the vibrational light available during the event were taken off the Earth onto ships because their bodies wouldn't have been able to withstand the shock. Once they're on the ships, they are kind of in a stasis on the ships. They're returned to Earth. Those who are dark souls don't return to Earth. They're recycled in the central sun, but everyone else comes back to Earth. When they get back, whenever they want to have a negative thought or continue on like in 3D Earth, they can't. There's an energetic block. They want to lie, but they can't. They want to steal, but they can't. They want to do bad things, but they can't. And those who try and persist in living a 3D life end up, taking their own lives or putting themselves in harm's way because they can't handle the higher vibration. They physically die. So humans who remain, they undergo a training, kind of like zapping a dog when they're training them. We're there to teach them how to think positively. And it says that she, as a human, has already shed her major layers of guilt and shame. And I've talked about some of this in interviews. Since having this session, I've incorporated some of this information in interviews. And so she's talking about this client has shed many of the layers that stop her from holding the light and stops her from raising her vibration. And that's what we all need to do, shed those layers of guilt and shame. But the majority of the population hasn't done that. And so they are dropping these layers and instinctively want to do something negative to bring these layers back up. It's like, a blanket of negativity that we're so used to that it feels almost vulnerable or so new to have these off. And it feels very raw to have these off because people get to see us for who we really are. And we're not used to that. But it's very powerful, very powerful. So her role is going to be to help or reassure people, calm them down, help them think about things a different way at a higher vibrational level. And that's certainly going to be the role for many, many, many people who are awakened and aware and healing themselves. And let's see, how does her life change after this event? She becomes a teacher. She leaves her old job. She currently works in a medical environment, and it says she leaves her old job as the whole medical system changes. But she goes to work teaching, and it says blogging with the technologies that are invented at this time or come about as a result of this event allow for her to blog no longer at the two-dimensional level, but at the third-dimensional level using holographic imagery. So that was pretty cool. So she can literally show up wherever she needs to be on Earth to help this process of people learning how to think and be different. It's also kind of neat because you can go wherever you want to go just by thinking about it on this Earth. After the event, she goes and visits her twin flame, and they travel around the world together to teach. Once the event happens, her twin and her will be reunited and free to be together, explore, teach, and be of service. And let's see, she wanted to know how religions change after the event. That was one of her questions that she arrived with. And it says, religions are all based on power. So power will be given back to the individual believer. They have to drop the idea of whatever their religion is, and in its place, they have to learn whatever they are. So the individuals who can't manage the new vibrations on Earth after the event go someplace else, another 3D planet where they are comfortable living. The people who go to another 3D Earth will be somewhere between 35 and 55% of the population. The people who can handle the vibration of the Earth after the event come back. And if they don't stay to witness the event, she stays. Wait. Oh, yeah. Let's see. I could have said that better. The people who can handle the vibration of the Earth after the event come back. They don't stay to witness it. Okay, just erase that from your memory. That sentence doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's see. How long does she stay for after the event? That was one of her questions. And it says she can ascend anytime she wants to, but she doesn't because her and her twin are there to teach others how to vibrate themselves into another dimension. That is very important, very important. That is not the first time I've heard that. It's maybe the first time I've ever published it, but there's work to be had here. And so she decides to stay with her twin and help others, and what they're going to be helping them do is get themselves to another dimension. And so that's very powerful and important work. So I commend anybody who stays and helps others, because you're not going to be staying in a hellish environment. You're going to be staying in an environment that's so exciting and new, and systems are breaking down, and you're there to help people get to the next level. And this is so freaking cool. This is the most exciting time to be alive. Why wouldn't you want to stay? I mean, granted, I want to go to the new Earth too, but there's so much cool work to do. Anyway, so how soon can she teach others this after the event? This vibrating themselves in another dimension. And it says, when she's reunited with her twin, she must teach him and get him up to speed because he's more kind of asleep. Let's see, after 1 month, they start traveling the globe to teach others how to raise their vibration. They do that for a few years, and then once they see that enough people on Earth are growing vibrationally, then they know that they can ascend to the 5th dimension. Okay, so I'm asking, I think this is her question, what happens to all the old leaders, famous people, actors after this event? And she says, well, remember, I said between 35 and 55% won't come back. A lot of them will leave. Most of the politicians will leave and not come back. Their place is taken by people like this client and her twin, who not only become teachers, but leaders on Earth. And the client was very shocked when she heard that. That's not in her conscious plan, let's say. So she was very taken aback. Let's see. Was there a specific role that twin flames played that's revealed after the event? Let's see, it says, after the event, they will be together perpetually until they join together. And as twins join together, that's when they go into that globe and return to the home world. Okay, so when she and so they're giving her an example, when they step off as one onto their home world, they are together. So that being that she is on her home planet, that's a combination of not only my client, but her twin flame. So they have merged into one being. So very interesting information. Very interesting. All right, let's see. Then she has some personal questions, so I'm just going to fast forward over that. Okay, it says, what should she be doing differently as this energy approaches? Because this client in particular was given like a chunk of free time. What should she be doing with it? And it says, nothing really, just honoring herself. Honoring herself. She needs to be comfortable with herself, and she needs to spend more time with creativity. She's creative on the internet right now, and that's good, but she needs to create because of just for her. And I said, well, what will that allow for? And it says, creativity, the very process of creation, is the beginning of something new. And whenever something new is worked on consciously, it raises your vibrational rate right there. The pointed purpose of creativity is to raise your vibration. So take note, do something, create something, write, draw, even if you're not trained, paint. You don't have to be a trained artist to use this stuff. Look at a little kid. Do anything. Make a new landscape in your yard. Create a new dish in your kitchen. Do anything. Do anything. Create a new piece of music, and you become part of the solution by doing that. All right, so I'm asking, so you want her to focus on raising her vibrations even more during this time. What are some of the things that will change that she'll notice as this event comes closer? And it says people will be more disoriented, confused, striking out, lashing out. The craziness, basically, that we're seeing now will continue and escalate. I say, is there any message that you would like her to share that could possibly help more people between now and when the event occurs? It says the more people can calm themselves now, the better they'll be able to handle the vibrations of the event. If people are worried or what have you, then they won't be able to accommodate and assimilate these waves of vibration. The vibrational wave of the event, and I love the term tsunami of love. This is what her higher self is saying, because it's much like a wave surges onto the beach and then gradually withdraws. People won't be able to take the full vibrational intensity of the event if it were to last, but it's going to be like a blast, and then it'll kind of slowly fade away, leaving a base rate. That's a high vibrational rate. So the sand on the beach is wet, but it's not being blasted by water continuously. So that there will be a residue here that doesn't leave, a residue. Those who can't take it will stay. Those who can take it will stay, but those that can't will go somewhere else. Some of them will come back, but not that many of them. All right, so I say, what would you do? No, that's not important. She wanted to know about the Pleiadians. Will there be Pleiadians landing? And what's our tie with Pleiadians? And it says, yeah, Pleiadians are going to land. That's real. It's true. It is real. This is what her higher self is saying. Now, remember, take any information with a grain of salt. Use your own discernment. Whenever you listen to stuff, you don't have to believe 100% of what somebody else is saying. This is my aside. You know that. I try to say this all the time. Please take everything with a grain of salt. But this is what this client is hearing in her session. So it says, the Pleiadians are our closest vibrational link to where we used to be at the times of Atlantis and Lemuria. And that's why they're kind of our big brother watching, is that Earth encompasses the event, and the Earth itself has already evolved to 5D, and now it's humanity's turn to catch up. Okay, let's see. And she had previous contact with Pleiadians, and she's asking, she wanted to know, was her contact with Pleiadians for real? And it says it was very real, and she needs to get back in touch with the Pleiadians, and she needs to do it a bit more formally, not quite so informal. She needs to consciously plan and pick a time to do this, and they will respond. So it's like setting a meeting of intention. It needs to be formalized a tad, because when she formalizes it in her own mind, they receive that information, kind of like a meeting planning. So they'll be there. And let's see. And I'm asking, well, are they here today by any chance? Because this was formalized. and it says, yes, they are. And I said, well, do they have any messages for her today or for anybody in particular, like on Earth? And it says, stay tuned. We're coming. So that was kind of cool. And they are happy, and they are also more aware of what it's like to be in 3D Earth. The other galactic races that are out there are not as aware about what we're going through. They see the Earth and they know what the Earth has to do. They wonder why humanity can't do it or hasn't done it, but they don't understand the process the dark has used to keep the souls on Earth enslaved for as long as they have. But this is the final dance of the dark in this galaxy. After darkness leaves the Earth, it will be, let's see, they won't be back. After the darkness leaves the Earth, they won't be back on this galaxy. So let's see. She wanted to know, is it worth it to keep smoking weed, to keep smoking pot as much as she has been, or should she back off a little bit? So a very good question. And it says, oh no, she can stay with it. There's no issues there. In fact, what happens when you smoke pot is you raise yourself vibrationally to the level of the plant itself. In her case, she will raise herself. The pot smoking will enable her to increase her vibrations even beyond that. So there's no issue there. And it says, her question was, can she influence the event by using the law of attraction? And the higher self says, not alone. She can't influence the event alone. It has to be a collective thing. She can influence her reaction to the event, but not anyone else's. And I say, well, can groups bring it here quicker? Yep, groups can. Through mass meditation, people can bring it here quicker. And how will money change after the event? That's her question. Well, the concept of money, and it's merely a concept, will change, aided by the speed with which new technologies are established on the Earth. Then we've got a lot of people that are gone, and they can create, and then there's the whole thing where there's a bunch of people who are gone. And then the people that remain here, they have this new technology, and they can create whatever they want through the use of replicators, because this technology, some of it already exists, and some of it will come on board with this new energy. So there will be money immediately after the event, but I'd say in about 3 months post-event, and remember, timelines, whatever, you don't need me to tell you. Maybe you do. Don't believe in timelines, but this is what it tells her. About 3 months post-event, the concept of money is gone. All right. And I say, any final messages today for my client? Breathe, relax, create, create, create. All right. So you got it. You got the gist of it. So very interesting stuff here. So some interesting stuff for twin flames, some interesting stuff about, off-world beings and different perceptions that they might have of Earth. And then, this idea that whole planets are out there kind of emptied out because everybody's here. Everybody is here trying to be involved in this process. And it's very cool stuff. And then what she might experience during the event and what will happen here afterwards. So thank you for allowing me to just post audio today. I hope everybody out there is doing well and wonderful. And thank you all for inspiring the people around you and for creating new things that have a ripple effect in this world. We all need each other. We are all important here. And I just want to say thank you. So that's it. I will see if I can post this up on YouTube, and much love to all of you. I haven't been posting too many sessions lately just because, well, hardly at all, because I've been preparing for this presentation in Sedona. That's September 29th. I do that, and I'm super excited about that. And all the people who are coming to Sedona, I cannot wait to meet you or give you a hug or finally see you face to face. And much love to all of you out there. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.